CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop. CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN.
Guys, the chicken is here. We are bringing you the Season 21 sneak peek of Warships. It's going to be a great one. The season's very exciting. There's a lot of new things, so we're going to break it all down for you. The way I'm going to do this sneak peek is we're going to break it down into sections. We're going to go over 2 engines, 3 engines, 4 engines, etc. Also, on my Discord server, we're going to be posting a tech tree path planner. So if you guys want to simply download that image, make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description. Of course, subscribe. We're going to be posting Warships every single day as the meta evolves. And don't forget to use the code CHICK in the shop if this does help you out. It's way out of focus. I really need to upgrade my camera. But let's get into it. Alright, so a couple things right off the bat. Season 21 is going to be a 21-day season. There is going to be a regular 40% star reset, as there is in every season, except for in Season 20. Or 19, whatever it was. The biggest thing this season, we have extra keys per chest. It looks like about 20% extra keys per chest. Also, engineers have been reworked, so they no longer throw out the turret things. They throw critters now, which is really interesting. So we're going to show you guys all this and more. So right off the bat, also we have 100% building health this season, and Seekers are, as you saw, in the middle of the mid to late tech tree. They're after the 5th, I believe this is the 5th engine. So let's just walk through the tech tree here for a sec, and then we'll go over the first section, and then we'll break it down per section. So right off the bat, we have building health, we have heavies, we have mines. Pretty standard starting. I think the path is probably going to be heavy Zuka, and then just go straight to 3 engines, and then from there, we'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, so I think the plan at 2 ER is just going to be, use your keys to get out of it. Flamethrowers are going to be good for sure. So maybe grabbing everything except the rifleman is probably going to be a good choice. I mean, we have heavies and we have Zukas. That's basically all we need. Of course, we're going to max out our gunboat and our landing crafts. And interesting deck for 2 ER. We're not going to be here too long because, like I said, there's a buff in the keys. So a lot of people are going to get straight to 3 ER. So let's jump ahead to 3 engines. So 3 engines, the map opens up a little bit, the deck opens up a little bit, and we have flamethrowers at the multi-node, so there's going to be a ton of flamethrowers. So I think that just makes opening Rifleman even that much more pointless. There's tons of splash damage, and we also have building health, so I would totally skip Rifleman, and I think we're just going to move ahead. Now, at 4 ER, look at this. So we have a lot of prototypes this season, troops this season. We got the Rainmakers, we got Dr. Vitamins, we have Warriors, we have Engineers that throw critters, which we're going to jump into in a second, and we also have the Incinerator. If I can click off this, we have Mechs, obviously skip the Mechs, and we have Shockeneers. So that's all the new prototypes we have, and for the most part, they're all useless. They're all too expensive. Medics are never viable in warships. The only one I'm interested to see is the Engineer. I feel like they're probably not going to be that good. I mean, they throw critters. It's probably going to be like the Critter Cannon, but like a smaller troop version. Shockeneers, we have to get them, so maybe we'll mix them in somewhere. But for the most part, we can see right here, we have heavy choppers right around Shockeneers. And we have bombers a little bit earlier. A little bit earlier than the Seekers, I believe. Yeah, so we have bombers right after the 4th engine. So, it kind of remains to be seen a little bit, but it's probably going to be a heavy chopper bomber Seeker meta like it always is. But let's talk about after the 3rd engine. So, after the 3rd engine, we got boom cannons. We have troop health. We have boom mines. We have flares, which is going to be huge. So, we're probably going to want to get to flares right away. We have 8 extra mines here, which is actually pretty interesting. And yeah, it's unfortunate that they keep putting these prototroop nodes at required tech spots, so we actually have to get the Rainmakers. Rainmakers are good if you're like, if you don't want to get into training and you just want to clear engines and get your chests. They'll work fine for that, but other than that, they're not going to win you any battles. So then we have rockets and cannons. That's probably something we're going to come back for, but if we're rushing, we're going to go up this way. We have our first prototype here. You can see we're probably going to end up going with the Doom Cannon, and then we're going to make our way up to the 4th engine. So at this point, we're still probably using heavies and Zukas. We don't really have anything else, so it's going to be a very long time with heavies and Zukas. You'll notice that our first hero is actually Everspark. Probably too many keys. I would go against upgrading her, or sorry, unlocking her. The first hero that we get over here is Bullet. Again, expensive, but he's probably going to pay off more in the long run. Kavan is a little bit late in the tree, and Brick is super late in the tree. We don't get Brick till the very, very end. We didn't have Brick last season for most of the meta, so we're probably going to want to rush to Dr. Kavan. Maybe skip Bullet unless you're planning on using Seekers. Bullet is great with Seekers. Otherwise, he's good, but it kind of depends on the troops we're using. So now let's jump into 4. All right, so we got my good buddy Shish Kebabber on the base here, and we're gonna get a first look at how these engineers work. So let's see. Now there's 0 GB to deploy, and are they gonna be the most OP troop with the rework with the new critters that they throw? I mean, it depends. If they throw 1 critter, they're probably going to be awful. But if they throw 10 critters per shot, let's see. Okay. Okay. Low health. And this is with all engineers, too. So, I mean, they should be throwing a lot of critters. Nope. Absolutely useless. So, guys, after seeing this, make sure you do not unlock engineers. They're totally worthless. And they will not provide you any value. So, there we go. That's it. That's the new reworked engineers. Just as bad as they were before. Now, I want to show you guys quick what Shish did. He used a little bit more of a viable strategy versus just using simply all engineers. He had Dr. Vitamin, he had engineers, he had Bullet, and he had bombardiers. An interesting approach for sure. And you would think, I mean, like logically, you would think that, maybe the engineers would provide a decent amount of cover for the. He actually threw some rainmakers in there too. You would think you'd think the engineers would provide cover for the bombers, but I think their main issue is their range. They just simply get too close. I mean, they get taken out by things like sniper towers and everything like that. It's like they get hit by everything. They don't have a lot of health. There's not a lot of them. There's only 3 per boat. So I think they need to drastically up the amount of critters that they shoot, or drastically up the amount of engineers per boat, because as of right now, they just simply do not provide enough value. So let's go ahead and look at what's next here. All right, so let's bring it back a bit. We're going to look at what happens after 4 years. So we get, as we just saw, we get a lot of stuff here. So we have bombardiers, we have engineers, we have prototypes. So I think what the best route is going to be. Now, we can't actually skip engineers. We have to get them. They are required to move forward. So what we're going to do here is we are simply going to go bombers. We have to get warriors. Probably a sky shield or maybe another doom cannon or damage amp if you get the rocket launchers. Kind of depends on your base layout at this point. Then unfortunately we got to get the engineers, and then we can probably just push straight to 5 if we're tech riding. If we're base riding, we want to get troop damage, we want to get shock mines, we want to get building damage. There's a lot of good stuff in 4 ERs here, but at the same time we don't want to get stuck here for too long, because basically you're either going to be going from 4 engines to 5 engines really quickly, or you're going to stay in 4 engines. You're going to get your barrage, you're going to get all your tech nodes, you're going to get your critters, your bombardiers. We're going to have a lot of stuff to attack with at 4. There's a lot of great offensive stuff. There's also a lot of great defensive stuff. And keep in mind, this is new as well. We have boom cannons are still at 2 times per multi-node. Now, we don't have them as much this season. I think there's only the one actual option with them, but did we miss any before? I don't think that we did. Yeah, that one was times 1. So it looks like just the one multi-node is 2 boom cannons. So that's definitely what we want to take there. But, other than that, we're just going to... We're either pushing forward or we're hanging back. Because if you're pushing forward to 5, you don't want to be fighting 4-engine guys that have barrage and etc. So let's move ahead to 5 and look what we got next. So at 5 engines, the deck layout really opens up, as you can see here. We potentially have a lot of defenses depending on if we're unlocking everything versus just trying to push forward. So there's a couple different paths here, and they're both pretty interesting. So I've got most of the stuff unlocked that I think is going to be worth getting. So keep in mind at this point we're probably still using heavies and bombardiers. So Kavan is going to be great if we're starting to struggle on offense with that. Also, we have Seekers. Of course, Seekers are going to be very dominant to the Seeker players. And then, so I think just simply getting Kavan, and either going, we're forced to unlock either incinerators or mechs. Now, mechs are going to be totally useless, so are incinerators. So it's kind of it's a bit of a gamble, but I think I think staying up the middle, just getting the incinerators and then getting to 6 as quickly as possible is probably going to be the right path for most people. Artillery and shock launchers, they're going to be huge too, so that's either going to be something we're coming back for or something we're skipping to push ahead with for the time being. But I think the path here at this point, if we're trying to do things optimally, is going to be get to 6 and get to heavy choppers as quickly as possible. So let's jump into 6 and see what we got. Alright, so here we are at 6 engines. Now, 6 engines is going to be all about the heavy choppers. Troop damage is kind of in a node by itself, so they're going to force you to spend extra keys to go that way. Typically, the stat nodes are always good unlocks, though, so I mean, that's probably going to be worth it. But over here, we have rocket choppers. We have another prototype, another sky shield, potentially. We have brick, and we have grenadiers. Grenadiers are not going to be the way to go, of course. Everyone's going to skip that. But yeah, so I mean, basically, everything here is good except the Shockeneers. And, depending on if you're a rocket chopper player, that's going to be good. It's not going to be good. But, yeah, so we're either going to go straight to heavy choppers, push forward from 6 into 7, or we're going to take our time. Typically, the season gets a little bit slow around here in terms of unlocks and how many keys and tokens that people have. But this season, giving more extra keys and tokens, like I said before, or sorry, just extra keys, not extra tokens, it might give the opportunity for more people to actually finish and complete the tech tree. So we're going to go dive into 7 here next and take a look at what we got. Alright, so 7 engines. The deck is basically wide open. I haven't made a base since 4 years, obviously, but I'm just kind of showing you guys what we have available to us. So, at the end of the tech tree, it's basically impossible for me to say what the meta is going to be, but we have a lot of great stuff. We have troop health. We have even more prototypes. We have 2 grapplers if we want them. We got extra GBE. We got shock mines. We have another building damage. So, these are going to be some very, very defensive heavy bases. And also, we have 100% building health this season compared to the last 2 seasons where we only had 50% building health. So I feel like that's going to catch some people off guard. Because they're used to certain troops being able to take down bases or specific defenses in a certain amount of time. It's going to take 50% longer this season than what we've been used to in the past. So, it's going to be really interesting. And if you're able to complete the tech tree, you're going to have a disgusting base with tons of defenses. And I feel like it's just going to be, it's going to be heavy chopper bomber to get through those for sure. So that is your Season 21 sneak peek, guys. I hope that this helps you out. If you want a simpler version of this, like I said, join the Discord server. We're going to be posting up kind of a tech tree path, but we hope that it's going to be disclaimer. I'm not responsible for what happens there, but it's just the path. Especially the first couple days, it's definitely going to help you guys out. In terms of the end of the season, I'm not psychic, but I'm going to do my best to help to help guide you guys in the right direction. And like I said, it depends on your keys. It depends on your finish from last season. It depends on how you're doing. But we will get you sorted if you guys are joining up that Discord server. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. And we'll see you next one, guys. Check it out. Back.